What's up, everybody? I'm Tamara. We're going to talk about the Taysia effect. That's right, I said it. The Taysia effect of having a man fall madly crazy in love with you. We watched her do it on this season of The Bachelorette, where she was the leading lady, and several men fell head over heels in love with her. Most women want to be married and they want to have children and they want to have that happily ever after, but getting there can be a challenge. So I want to help you get there by exploring what is it about this girl that seems to have the it factor. I mean, she got invited back to Bachelor in Paradise. Now she's a leading lady, the star of The Bachelorette. What is it about her that seems to attract men? Because she had men going completely bonkers over her, even in Bachelor in Paradise. And I believe that she was the runner-up in the Bachelor series that she started off in. So we want to figure out what it is about her, that it factor, that causes men to really like her. One of the ways of getting to happily ever after, to getting that special, romantic, deeply satisfying relationship, is by looking at what doesn't work. So there's this new lane of relationship connecting, and it's not so new, but it is popular in some circles that say you can allow a man to cheat on you, just take his money. You're going to go after men who have a lot of money, and if they cheat, that's fine because you're going to be taking his money. So on one hand, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of that train of thought. I think it's a way to protect yourself from getting hurt. It's a way to say, well, all men cheat, so I'm going to bury my feelings. I'm not going to care about that anymore. So I'm going to allow him to cheat. And to make myself feel better, I'm going to take his money and I'm going to play kind of a man's game of getting a woman type of thing. Or it's more of a getting even. And I just have to say that in the past, a lot of men have mistreated women. They have not treated women fairly. They haven't taken advantage. They have used them to get their own needs met and not made commitments and stuff like that. And I definitely am not validating that. I don't think that it's okay to mistreat a woman or mistreat any human being. So you have to have a level of integrity for how you treat other people, while at the same time holding high standards for yourself and what you want and what you believe in. The problem with this brand of he can cheat and I'm going after his money anyway is that makes for a very superficial relationship. And that makes for a very narcissistic type of relationship. And I think people who push that type of relationship more than likely have a lot of narcissism in them. They may have some things that, if I were to counsel with them, I would dig up a lot of hurts, a lot of trauma in childhood, and there's a level of emptiness there. So if your average person who had a fairly healthy upbringing, healthy defense mechanisms and responses, that is not going to carry you very far by trying to, it would be very plastic because there's more to you than just surface. That's a very surface level way of operating. You're operating with this set of rules that does not involve love. And if you're going to be in a relationship that's absent of true love, of a healthy interaction, and you're going to just follow this formula, what is the point of being in the relationship? Wouldn't it be better to be alone? I think women who take that approach, like, yeah, I'm going to win him over, I'm going to take emotions out. Well, women are more feeling, generally speaking, than men, and that is a blessing in many ways. Do I think that women have to learn how to be a little bit more objective, a little bit more like a man, a little bit more hey, you know what? Can I put some feelings aside? Unfortunately, because people use and abuse and mistreat each other, I do. I think you have to, I think there is a lane of turning down the volume on heightened feelings so that you can think clearly and logically. I agree with that. I think that is important. I think you have to put some logic in it, because what happens is we get in our feelings and we just let go and don't care anymore about getting stomped on. We are attached, like hardcore attached, and all we care about, which is what I talk about in my book, is we become attached, and that attachment is so strong and so powerful that we will do anything for it just to turn it off so that we don't get hurt, because that hurt is devastating. Like, there's not a lot of hurt that can feel the way a broken relationship does to a woman. So I understand all that, and you probably want to read my book because I go into a lot of depth on that. So on one hand, you do have to think with your head, and you have to make some logical decisions. If somebody's cheating on you, mistreating you, they're not making a connection, they're not making you feel safe, then you're going to have to force yourself out of that situation, even though you may not feel like it. But like I said, I go into that a lot more in my book to helping you to have a healthy relationship. But you also don't want a narcissistic fake relationship that's based on I'm constantly getting him back because, or I'm playing constant games so that I can keep him around. What kind of a life is that? That's going to equal to misery. And if you are an average person and you're not a narcissist, you're not going to be able to keep up with that anyway. That's not going to work. And nobody plays games better than a man. They are practiced at it. They are built for it. So a man who wants to game play, who wants to manipulate, who wants to use you, he's going to be fantastic at it. And to outgame him, that's going to take a lot of work. So you want to connect with someone who is sincere, who is honest, who is truthful. That's the goal. Or it really is better to be by yourself. And that sometimes takes a lot of healing, which I help you to do in my book. But you want to go for the Taysia effect, because the Taysia effect is sincere, it's honest, it's flirtatiousness. She walked into the room and she would elevate the energy. And I'm really big on energy. I can feel people's energy, and she lifted their energy. She didn't lower it by being a jerk. And in fact, the Taysia effect is the opposite of what some of these life coaches are telling you to do. She was actually nice to every single guy that she dated. I never, she really, I mean, she may have had a couple of little moments, but for the most part, she was actually really kind and really respectful and really nice to these guys. In fact, the Taysia effect had an impact on men that made them care about her feelings, care about her well-being. She drew that energy into herself. And so when she was a little off, or she wasn't feeling as jovial and happy and got into her feelings and too much into her head and started to worry, these guys, these very masculine men, would tap into, hey, are you okay? How's it going? I want to make sure you're all right. Like, it was safe. They showed her that it's safe to feel what you feel. And I'm still going to support you and meet you where you're at with your needs. A good guy will do that for you. So a lot of times people go to people for advice that can be detrimental to a relationship, because they're in a very desperate place. They're very panicked. They're afraid that this guy is going to leave them. He's already cheating on them. He's not treating them right. He's not making a full commitment. And so that scares women. When a man is afraid of commitment or won't commit, that is terrifying to a woman. And so she goes to someone who can tell her how to gameplay. Like, okay, well, treat this man like dirt, or switch up on him, or do all of these tactics. And I'm not saying that that there isn't any gameplay at all in a love relationship. I mean, I think there might be room for a little tiny bit of strategizing, as far as, you don't want to let someone walk all over you, for example, or mistreat you or hit you or put you down. So there are certain rules that come into play when it comes to romantic relationships, but you don't want to be taking advice from someone when you're at a place of desperation and they're telling you to play these extreme narcissistic type of game moves. That's not going to work in a long run. And then you're going to spend your whole relationship in a very desperate, needy, nervous, always trying to keep him, not feeling secure. That is not the way to live. That is not how you want to live your life. So let's get into more of the Taysia effect, because the Taysia effect can help you get the man of your dreams. In order to have the Taysia effect on men, you have to be warm and enthusiastic, empathic and caring, charismatic, creative. And if you notice, she had very strong people skills. She relates very well to other people. She made every man feel special, like he's the only man on earth. And she did it in a very positive, playful, flirtatious way. And by flirtatious, I don't mean, she was never inappropriate. She was very positive in her flirtatiousness, very cute, very playful. Made every man feel like he was the only man on earth by giving him respect. And she didn't even say a lot of like, you're so amazing and you have the most beautiful eyes and I love how strong you are. She didn't make convincing arguments. She just showed it in her eyes and in her smile. If you notice, she smiled a lot. She drew them in with her smile. So obviously men want a safe place to land as well, where they feel a happy energy. And it doesn't mean that you can't be multi-layered and have many different angles and many different sides, but she did a good job with lifting their spirits and making them feel wanted and special without working so hard to do it. The Taysia effect is not manipulative. It's I'm happy to be in your presence. Let's enjoy every moment. Let's stay in this moment. And the Taysia effect is also, hey, I have been hurt and devastated by love. She's been through a divorce, but she is able to put that aside and let her own characteristics shine forth, which many of us don't do. We crumble, we fall apart, we stay in the past. She kind of knew how to set that aside and stay in the moment. If you want to learn how to attract men and have a good, healthy, solid relationship, it starts with being honest, with acknowledging your feelings, not being bashed, not being shamed for how you feel, but embracing those things and helping you to create a more positive aura about yourself so that you can have the relationship that you deserve and that you need to have in this life to make it so much more pleasurable and enjoyable. So check out my book called Flip the Script on Love by Tamara Hunter Zyon on Amazon. And I know it can help you to get the love that you deserve and that you need in this life. So I hope you enjoyed watching The Bachelorette featuring Taysia, and I hope that you learned some things that you can apply to your own life. All right, well, until next time, bye, friends.